This book was not at all what I expected. It's not a book that you can skim, but I absolutely adored it. This is How You Lose a Time War. I'm rating it 5 out of 5 stars. No debate. The book follows two time agents fighting in this time war. Their names are Red and Blue, and they're not people in the traditional sense. Red and Blue are abstract consciousnesses acting as weapons for these two opposing godlike consciousnesses, one obsessed with sterile order and the other obsessed with runaway growth. And as they rewrite reality through weaving time, they start to encode messages to each other in literal fabric of reality. So what works? The prose is stunning. If you're a fan of purple prose, this is genuinely beautiful. The characters Red and Blue feel radically different in the book, especially in their letters to each other. Different voices, different people, different philosophies, different mindsets, and levels of experience. It's amazing. The book is about time travel, but it really isn't. It has so many different themes that which it dives into. One of the ones I love the most is about identity and how it relates to having a body or not having one. That's because the characters really don't have a true self. When they are in their true self, so to say, they're technically attached to this bigger grand god thing. But really the only place in which they can exist is in these letters that they're writing to this enemy person, this enemy agent. That shared linguistic space is the only place where these characters feel alive, and it absolutely comes off that way in the prose. And all the other themes of how language shapes identity, how aesthetics become meaning, how these two beings existing inside these gods, one anti-entropy and another hyper-entropy, can find love and existence outside of that in this system which was designed to erase them. This book takes enemies to lovers to a metaphysical level. The words don't just define them, they create them. Now, what doesn't work? The book is disorienting for a while. It doesn't handhold you. It doesn't explain things. You have to piece together the lore and the way of how this war is working or what the characters are through little fragments in the letters and in the prose. And with that lack of explanation, the mechanics of the worlds that they live in, they're soft. The war can feel like it's scenery at sometimes, just a backdrop on this love story. And combine that high fantasy, abstract concept of the world with the poetic and dense prose that is in the letters in which they write, it might be unbearable for some readers. And finally, I think that there is a case to be made that Red and Blue take a liking to each other way too fast. There isn't much pushback once the correspondence starts. Sure, there's like kind of rivalry and things, but there isn't outright like rejection. And so if you need that kind of traditional scaffolding or setup, that isn't going to be in this book. But from my experience reading it, that was kind of the point. The war feels like scenery and inconsequential